Tonight, we're going deep on one of Jamaica's longest-standing and most controversial politicians, Phillip Paulwell. Decades in Parliament, cabinet posts, big policy initiatives, but his name is also tied to scandals that cropped up over the years, and a personal tragedy that shook the country in 2023. Now he's back in the headlines. Should he be allowed to continue serving? Or is this a man whose record should have disqualified him from public office? First, a quick snapshot. Phillip Paulwell has been a PNP MP for years and held ministerial roles, including industry, commerce, science, and technology and energy. He's been a major figure in Jamaica's political landscape, widely respected in some circles, widely criticized in others. That long career is why every fresh scandal or personal crisis is read through the lens of public responsibility. Paulwell's name has been linked to several big controversies over time. These include the NetServ loan saga, where government funds were loaned to a private IT firm that later collapsed, the decision-making around telecom licenses and interventions involving the Office of Utilities Regulation, the OUR, which were later the subject of legal challenges, and the widely reported Cuban light bulb scandal, a program intended to distribute donated energy-saving bulbs that ended up mired in questions about contracts and costs. These incidents repeatedly raised questions about oversight, procurement, and ministerial judgment. Probably the most legally notable controversy was related to telecommunications regulation. Paulwell issued directions and got involved in decisions on interconnection rates and licenses that opponents and the courts later scrutinized. The disputes culminated in litigation reaching the Privy Council, a sequence that left a stain on his reputation and fed the narrative that ministerial powers had been overstretched. The Cuban light bulb program, meant to distribute fluorescent bulbs donated by Cuba, became a public headache. Investigations and media reports said the distribution and contracting process cost the state more than expected and raised red flags about who benefited from the contracts. That episode, and similar projects that underdelivered, are why critics say Paulwell's tenure was characterized by policy plans that sounded good on paper but lacked transparent implementation. Now, the part that gripped the nation, in 2023, Phillip Paulwell's 10-month-old daughter, Saraya, and her mother, Tashina Patterson, were abducted and murdered. The case shocked Jamaica. Multiple people were arrested and later charged in relation to the killings. Reporting indicates the case involved complex personal relationships. The woman connected to the matter was linked by relationship to the politician, and the killings were tied to jealousy and conflicts among adults. Importantly, Paulwell was never criminally charged in relation to the murders. The legal responsibility for the killings lay with those who planned and carried out the abduction and killings, and multiple defendants have been prosecuted in Jamaican courts. The public response was fierce. Many Jamaicans felt the revelations about Paulwell's personal life, even separate from legal culpability, were incompatible with the dignity expected of an MP. Calls came for resignation. Others argued for due process and pointed out he had not been charged. For years, the controversies had already eroded trust. This tragedy intensified the debate about moral leadership and accountability. So here's the core question for us as citizens. What standard should apply to someone holding high public office? Do repeated controversies and a horrific family tragedy, even without criminal charges against the MP himself, make someone unfit to serve? Or should voters alone determine fitness at the ballot box, provided no criminal finding exists? There's no easy answer, but many argue the bar for ethical leadership must be higher than mere lack of conviction. Defenders of Paulwell point to his long service, his experience in energy and technology, and the idea that resignation without a legal finding can set a dangerous precedent where political enemies weaponize allegations. They say governance needs experience, and that voters should decide. That's a position with logic, but it's politically costly when trust is thin. Ultimately, this story isn't just about one man. It's a test for our system, how we balance due process and moral leadership, how much weight we give to reputation and public confidence, and whether institutions will strengthen ethics rules so scandals don't keep repeating. If the public feels politicians can weather scandal without meaningful transparency or consequence, trust in governance will only decline. So, Jamaica, what do you think? Should Phillip Paulwell have resigned after the scandals and the 2023 tragedy? Should he be allowed to serve again if voters re-elect him? Or do we need stricter rules to protect the public interest? Tell me below. Be specific, be civil, and bring facts. I'll be reading the best comments in the next video. If you want more deep dives like this, hit subscribe and share.